Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, it is a thirsty Thursday night. I'm Dan Marty along with
MJ in the house.
A brand new Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty is next. Stand by. Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
And I'm Mr. USA WWE Hall of Famer Tony Atlas.
The road to WrestleMania has begun. Wrestling fans are looking to add to their man caves. You got to see what we have in the eBay store.
Check it out.
Support Wrestling Insiders in-studio shoot interviews on eBay with this brand new personally autographed WWE Royal Rumble 2021 11x14 poster signed by WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, his advocate Paul Heyman, and Kevin Owens. Reigns and Owens battled for the Universal title in a last standing match January 31st in the Thunderdome in Tampa. This limited edition collector's poster is number 31 of only 50 produced. Comes with WWE authentication hologram on the poster itself. Also comes with an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas and a bonus autographed 8x10 photo. Get this rare, awesome collectible for your man cave and help keep wrestling legends working now. Boston Wrestling Sports and the MWF explodes into a new year of unknown with professional wrestling content galore, and we need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after we review the previous night's Monday Night Raw, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with the unpredictable WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights after WWE, NXT, and AEW at 10 p.m., you never know who's going to show up on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll journey through the 80s and 90s on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday nights after the lights go down at the Thunderdome on SmackDown, it's John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. If you want early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and to help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans, I hope your Thursday is going well. Welcome to another Wrestling Insiders as all of our great friends continue to pour into the premiere and they're in the live chat. We thank you for joining us as always. Don't forget that super chat button is open. It helps us keep the lights on. Don't forget to tip the bartender as we attempt to give you great entertainment. I don't know.
Where's the bartender?
Commissioner Von Johnson was a bartender.
Who?
The commish.
So was AOC.
Well, that's true. Yeah, she was, as a matter
She
of
was.
fact.
They recruited her right out of a bar.
Well, we continue our journey through 1989, and I'm sure Marty is going to find many other years to discuss in the meantime.
I get lost in the Patreon.
April of 1989, the NWA said, stick a fork in Barry Windham. He's done. He comes to the World Wrestling Federation, semi-repackaged, is the Widowmaker. Any memories of Barry coming to the WWF
You know,
in
Barry
89?
and I really didn't never have too much experience together, but he was a fun, did a little bit around him. Fun guy, a fucking great worker.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
You know, what was he, like 6'6", you know, 6'6", lean, you know, the blonde hair, the girls loved him, man. But
I know someone that really enjoyed Barry.
oh, you gotta go there again.
I'm not gonna say the name, but the fans know.
You're not gonna say Pat Patterson's name?
Oh, that wasn't who I meant.
Oh, who'd you meant?
Baby.
Oh, ass eating that?
Yeah.
I love AEA.
She loved Barry.
But he was a great worker and a great person. I love Barry. His boy is doing good. What's his boy's name?
Who the hell is his boy?
Or was it his brother? He had a brother.
Kendall.
Yeah, Kendall.
Yeah.
Was doing it. Whatever happened to him? He kind of disappeared.
Him and Blackjack went to jail for counterfeit money.
Yeah, that's right. They did, didn't they?
Yeah, Kendall did have a comeback, though, in WCW in the late 90s, but...
As
As
Kendall?
Kendall, yeah. They put him with Barry, but not much to write home about during the end of WCW.
I don't know what
But,
happened. Barry just wouldn't put up with no shit. He
Was
man,
Patterson
everybody.
was Patterson after Barry?
But Pat was after anybody that looked good. He was a good-looking dude, young dude. I don't know enough to say about Barry other than, you know, I know he didn't stick around anywhere and he was one of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was great. But you know, from what I gathered from my little time around him and what people said, he just wouldn't put up with the bullshit.
Yeah.
He was just as happy to say, nah, fuck this. You know.
He didn't have a very long run as the Widowmaker.
Not long at all.
I mean, he was in by the spring, and he was gone before Survivor Series because he was originally booked on one of the teams.
What does that mean? Like a widowmaker? That means you killed the husband?
He makes widows, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that wasn't around that long. Oh, she's pretty.
And that's a shame because at that point he was still relatively young. He had a lot to contribute.
But that's what I say. I don't know if he walked away or they said it's just not working. Because even if it wasn't working, everybody wanted him so much, they'd be like, well, that character ain't working. You know, let's give you something else.
I think, you know,
it was probably him that walked away.
If I remember right, I think part of the reason he left was because of the problems the father and the brother were having, getting ready to go to jail.
Is that when it happened, around that time frame?
Yeah, I think it was 90 when they went to jail. And this was 89 that he came in and had that short run as Widowmaker. He really didn't have a big program. I don't think he appeared on any of the pay-per-views. Like I said, he was booked.
No, it was very, you know,
I was
there at the time, and I almost didn't notice. You know?
He was booked for Survivor Series, but again, he was replaced on. Oh, geez, who replaced him? Someone with Wikipedia is going to be able to come up with it more than me. But I think he was on Randy Savage's team at Survivor Series '89. But we'll get to Survivor Series as it goes on anyway. But just a shame that nothing big came out of it. Could you have seen him as someone programmed for Hogan or Warrior in title matches?
Yeah, but the Widowmaker thing, they did kind of want him to follow a guideline type thing. We want you to do it this way, that way, this way. And I think Barry just knew, or felt he knew enough. I can do this. You just tell me what you want. I guess. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for Barry. I love him to death, though. Say that. But yeah, I mean. And that gimmick wasn't really getting over, because everybody knew who he was. You couldn't miss a 6'6", blonde-haired beach guy, looking guy. You couldn't, so we call him the Widowmaker. No, it's Barry Windham. Sometimes when they repackage you and you got like Fatu even, they
make a difference. Yeah,
everybody was like, no, that's Fatu. I mean, sometimes
you talk about someone that was repackaged many times, Fatu, but We'll get there as your timeline.
Them Samoans, man, they got some ends, I guess, because of Appa and Sika, but they've always been very professional. They've always been very loyal. They make sure their family is, they're the best people in the world.
And they like free meals.
Eat raw fish.
They've never been one to turn
one down. No, I don't mean like sushi. I mean the fish.
Yeah. They'll take whatever they can get. Well, disappointing. I was excited to see Barry Windham in WWF, and not much happened with him, and then he was gone. Also in the spring of 1989, as WWF attempts to freshen things up, the now heel former WWF World Champion Macho Man Randy Savage, as Bye-Bye Miss Elizabeth, is now paired with...
That was that year?
89, yep. Is paired with Sherri Martel.
Yeah, Scary Sherri.
Scary Sherri, as Brutus Beefcake called her. What did you think of the pairing of the wild Sherri Martel and the Macho Man together?
Well, you had two badasses together. The Elizabeth and Randy thing was, they did that shit right. I mean, that's part of the genius in Randy. What money he made, they made. What money she made, they paid taxes with. So, I mean, it was a good little setup, and all she had to do was walk ringside and be on the road with him all the time,
Yeah.
You got your wife right here. You got to worry about getting her 21 TV dinners.
Well, we'll get there as the time of life goes on. But did you like the Savage and Sherri pairing on top? I mean, I'm sure Sherri had to have been maybe a little nervous, maybe, to all of a sudden go from she was dressing up as Peggy Sue with the honky tonk man to now all of a sudden being on top.
I forgot about that.
She was on top now with Randy feuding with Hogan.
Yeah, you know, me and her were real close because of the AWA days with
Mm-hmm.
Buddy Rose and Doug Summers. We had to, you know, I got all these damn reminders.
Notes, yeah.
No, don't mumble. It's on the cup. Don't mumble.
On the cup. It's
I'm
on the
fucking
arm.
mumbling anyway. Sorry about that. It's a speech impediment. I was dropped on my head when I was just a little kid, and we happened to be at some stairs, and I bounced my head.
Oh, jeez.
Bam, 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 bam. And I've been retarded. Not retarded. That's a horrible thing to say. I've been mentally handicapped ever since. But I think I've done all right with it.
Yes.
But so, Sherri and I were close enough, but she kind of, you were saying when she get nervous about it, you know, get catapulted in that place, that position. I think she just rolled with it. You know, I think she didn't come and say, I don't know what to do, you know, because we'd always talk about stuff. You know, I told you, she, you know, come up to and said, Marty, y'all are weird. Because we would have, you know, play with action figures, me and Sean, and just whatever, we like hip toss them and go over with them and drop an elbow after, you know, with the action figures. And we thought, oh, that would look cool. Let's try it. You know, we would,
So you'd kind of work out scenarios with action figures?
Yeah, with action figures.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. And Sherri walked by and seen us doing it, and she thought we were playing with toys, dolls. And she'd come up and says, Marty, all the guys are seeing y'all play with them dolls. And I'm like, oh, Sherri, we're figuring out combinations of moves. She goes, oh, I'm going to start doing it. Why? You only walked through the ring? Because she wasn't wrestling that much. She did when she first came in, right?
When she first came in, yeah, they made her the women's champion, but then as they really didn't do much with the women's division after she dropped the title to Rockin' Robin. Rockin' Robin really had a little run with Sherri, a little run with Judy Martin, and then they got rid of the women's title altogether. And again, she was under the blonde wig as Peggy Sue. What's that?
Judy Martin came through when I was there.
Oh, yeah.
88.
89. Well, she came back in 89 to do a singles run with Rockin' Robin.
Okay.
Matter of fact, on that series of shows you were working with the Brainbusters, there were a lot of Rockin' Robin, Judy Martin matches, yeah.
Damn, man, the brain just stopped. It just quit on me.
No, there wasn't much to remember, but that's a different story for a different time. But
you know, my memory files are damaged.
You knew Sherri quite well. Your memories on her?
Oh, I loved her to death. You know, me and Booker T were the only ones of the boys who were able to go to her funeral.
Really?
Yeah. I'll send you a picture.
Oh, you went? I'm glad.
Yeah. And Booker T.
Was she in? Where was she living at that? Alabama?
Yeah. And
because you know why I feel bad? I tried to book her not too long before she passed.
Before that happened, yeah.
And her story is one that almost reminds me of you.
Well,
you know, where she had, you know, some substance abuse problems that were well documented. But here's the thing: if her back problem was taken care of, would there be the drug and alcohol problem?
Probably not. You know, same with me. I mean, once these ankles are fixed, I mean, I've pretty much got to the point now that I can take the pain a little bit. There's still days, you know, because I tried to stop drinking completely.
Well, hopefully that steroid that they're going to give you is going to help with the inflammation and at least make the pain more tolerable. That's
well, when they do, like by now, I got a cast on. Yeah. When y'all seeing this, when they're doing the reconstructive, I have no idea. Are they going to put an air cast on, or they're going to put a cast, you know, the hard cast on?
I would imagine they'd have to put a hard cast on for a little while.
Imagine, because they're moving a whole bunch of stuff. You know, tendons and not tendons, ligaments from one side to the other, and they got to scrape some bone.
But you'll be a new man.
Yeah.
And what's the recovery time on that?
Well, they said Dr. McCluskey, Lee McCluskey, my friend that played football with in school, he said, I know your work ethic. He goes, it's usually 6 months. He don't want to do them both at the same time.
Oh, you need both done?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I thought it was, I know which one you need done the worst. Yeah.
You can see this one. I mean, like, here's a foot over here, here's the leg bone.
No, it just reminds me of Sheik.
Yeah.
He's in the same boat.
Yeah, and the pain, man, and this one, it's not as visual, but it's so bone on bone. 10 years ago when he first looked at him and he did the x-rays, he said, Marty, he goes, we got to hurry and get that. You probably ain't got another 6-8 months before the bone on bone. He said, it's so bad. He goes, you got the ankles. It was 10 years ago. said, you got the ankles of an 80-year-old.
Wow.
And he said, this one, he says, it's going to wear a hole in the bone, the rubbing so much. And he goes, I know you can take a lot of pain, tolerate a lot of pain. I've seen it in football, and I've seen what you do on TV. All of his kids are big fans. So that's so nice. That made me feel good, that they're, home people are proud of me and stuff. But he said when bone wears through that, I guess he had the name, the medical name for it or whatever. But it was basically the juices from the bone seep out and hit the nerves. He goes, you're not going to be able to tell, you'll pass out. The pain will be so great.
It's like taking a sledgehammer to a jelly donut, and all the jelly's gone. No, honestly, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I was going to ask when you ever did that, to know that.
Well, I know the description from some of my back issues that I've had, how it's been described to me.
Oh, damn.
But, well, we just, we continue to hope.
But the answer, he said normally 6 months. Like this, we're going to get this one first. The one that's, the foot's over here and the leg bone's over here. We're going to get that one first. And he said 6 months before he don't like to do both at the same time, because the reconstructive is pretty complex thing, so he don't want to do them both at the same time. I kind of wish he would, but he knows best. I mean, he's one of the best in the world.
Well, you wouldn't be able to get around it all if he
well,
did
I'm not
both
going
at
to be
the
able to
same
do
time.
too much anyway, but I mean, a lot less.
At least with one, you should be able to at least
get around
navigate a little bit
yeah.
the house.
But I think he was doing it for the safety purpose. This is a major one. It's going to take a while. I might be in there 8 hours under the anesthetic or whatever it's called. Man, they got me doing all kinds of weird shit, like blowing, like inhaling. You got to do it for 5 seconds. It's this little inhaler thing, and you watch the little thing float, go up to the top, and you do it like 10, 12, 15 times. And I said, well, how often you want me to do it? Once a day or every day? Or, oh no, every hour. For the rest, for a week, it's like an inhaler.
Well, what is it that you're inhaling?
Air capacity.
Oh, okay.
And it's like when the breathalyzers for those of you who got it pulled over and had to do a DUI test, like blow
into it. Is that
into
what
it.
you have to do?
It's
I've
the
never
opposite.
had
You
one.
got to inhale.
Oh, okay.
And you got to be able to do it for about 4 or 5. But it's I guess it's going during the surgery. It helps out because they got you on the ventilator and the air pumped in, and they want your lungs to getting all the air they can.
Well,
I guess.
I'm just happy.
I just mumbled again. Damn it.
I'm happy that you're finally having it done.
Oh, me too.
I want you to get better and be more mobile. But if for Sherri's services, it was just you would book it to you with the only 2 representatives from us?
Jake Roberts was there.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Good.
They were an item. They were something at one time.
Really?
Yeah.
Before WWF?
Well, I don't know when it was, but it had to be way back because I didn't know. It might have been during WWF. Or it might have been before that. I don't know. I didn't even know they were until the funeral.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but Jake kind of shocked us all with that one. This was during the height of, Jake, admits to, he got caught up and was in the grip. I think he came to his funeral geeking. We call it geeking, like you need that next hit,
You think he wanted to get high at Sherri's funeral?
I think he just wanted to stay high. He was the night before, the day before.
Oh.
It's a run through. You just keep going, And the funeral's coming, okay, I'll be all right. And the funeral's here, okay, I'll make it. And the funeral's over, okay, what'd I do? I make it? It was kind of like that when you're on that train. And he was, because I was there once, I know what it looks like, and he was sweating and he was,
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just had that pale look and a lot of that. And, we sat together. We all Booker's, and he brought his wife. What's her name?
Shamel.
Yeah, she was there. One side of me, Jake was behind me, one row, but right behind me. We were talking and stuff, and I had no clue. He goes, "I'm going to go up and speak." And now, Sherri had somebody that she was living with. In fact, it was his.
I think they were married, were they
They
not?
might have been married. I just know they were living together. And it was his drugs that they found out, because he was mangled up too.
Tony, because Tony and Sherri became very close based on working upon some independent shows down in Tennessee. And I guess the husband or whatever the man was, that's what he told Tony. She took the wrong medication,
Right.
and that's what she died from. It
Right.
wasn't an overdose pain pills
the
or
wrong
anything
shit
like that.
mixed up,
It was an
yeah.
actual accident. She took the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
That's what you heard too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was his stuff that, well, shit, if you like a pile of pills, these are my pills, these are your pills. Somebody walks or farts real quick, they're going to mix
Well, it was
in,
like that
and you're like, oh, which one? Shit.
It was like that Terry Gordy story. I think it was the blue one.
Yeah, oh, yeah. But, yeah, there's a Jake kind of, he was telling me, I gotta go up and speak. And I'm thinking, well, why? I mean, her family would speak, I guess, or if there was family there. I don't know how that worked. And her husband maybe, but why's Jake going up and speak? That's the first
Did he
time.
go up and speak?
Yes, he did, and oh my God.
Bad? Was it bad?
It wasn't bad, but the things he said while her man or her husband sitting right over there.
Give me an example.
Well, it was just about how much him and her loved each other, and I really loved her, and she really, like, he was, getting into tears. But she really loved me, and we should have stayed together. And I'm like,
Oh my God.
in front of, it wasn't nothing bad, but you don't need him to hear all
It
that.
wasn't the right platform. I
Right.
guess if he wanted to come and do an interview like this and talk about his relationship with Sherri, that's cool. To say it at the
Or us.
woman's funeral with her husband or significant other and her son there, oh my God.
And the thing is, not too many people like that guy. So, me and Book are looking at each other, and we're thinking, does he hate that? Because a lot of guys hated that guy because they felt like he was supplying her with extra.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now,
So
see,
a
I
lot of
didn't know
people
that
blamed
part.
him on her
Do
death.
you think that's true?
I have no idea.
Okay.
That's too deep a subject, strong a subject to
No, what do you mean?
to guess.
Oh,
do
just I
guesswork
see
on.
what you mean. Not to know his fact.
Yeah, I ain't gonna.
Did you know the man at all?
I met him a couple times. He was nice enough to me.
Yeah.
I
just, I for someone I didn't know, that one even still sticks to me because
Which one, Sherri?
Yeah, because
Well,
I
me
just
too.
think she was such a nice lady when I
She
interacted
was like
with
a
her.
Bonnie Shaw's sister.
The problem was, I thought she wanted way too much money for her level of value to a wrestling event at that point. Nothing, no heat or anything.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought she wanted too much.
All those girls do that, man.
I know they do.
Terry, I love Terry to death. Terry Reynolds.
No, don't even talk about it.
She's
No.
bad, but yeah. When I went to Germany, I actually gave the guy over there, I love him to death, John. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to bring no heat nowhere. But he had mentioned about bringing a diva over, and I mentioned me and Terry were friends by then.
Well, you were friends, all right.
Stop it.
Oh,
And
no, I know.
No, you don't know nothing.
We haven't even got on that subject yet.
Yeah,
But that,
so what had happened was...
oh, I hate that fucking...
What?
I'm going to start saying things I don't want to say, but it's just a hatred you can't...
Did you know her and New Jack were together for a minute?
Isn't that fucking insane?
Do you know
and I
her?
tell you this, that fucking...
Ninja?
She got what she deserved when New Jack
that one?
buried her.
They married?
Buried her.
Oh, buried. I thought you said they married her. Like, no.
Buried her.
Yeah, he went around with his certificate. Remember that?
There were pictures of her gigging herself. He had all kinds of... I
Gigging
hate-
herself.
Yeah, she had a blood fetish. She would gig herself.
Oh, God. I'm glad
He was
I didn't
taking
date her.
pictures of it and put it out there, and it wound up in court.
I knew that.
She's just one of the most vile human beings I've ever encountered anywhere, in any way, shape, or form. And for New Jack to bury her about having no teeth and all of her different...
About no teeth.
I guess she's friendly, quote unquote, with some dentist in a different state, and she goes to visit the dentist, and he gave her nice implants.
Perfect teeth. Okay.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
Marty, the hatred. Marty, the hatred.
See, I know a different Terry.
Marty,
I'm
you definitely know a different Terry.
like Terry.
The
She's
hatred. The hatred I have for Terry Runnels. There's only one other I hate as much as Terry Runnels.
You know,
Velveteen Dream in NXT.
I don't know if I ever met her. Is
That's
that
a
her?
he. Oh,
Oh. Oh,
well, you know what?
the gay boy. The
Yeah,
gay.
yeah, so
oh, he's
kinda,
cool, man.
yeah.
Why don't you like him?
Oh, that one.
Velveteen?
He created havoc between me and WWE Talent Relations because he lied. And I created havoc for him because of that lie, just as he was starting with that company.
Yeah.
Because of some of the friends of ours that worked with us, that knew me, when he wound up there after no showing an event that we had put together that he was advertised on,
Damn,
which was
you know
the
these people
point of
different than I know.
contention.
He's like a respectable.
Who, Velveteen Dream?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you
liked
met him?
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I liked him an awful lot, too. But then, like I said, we had him booked. He wound up getting signed by WWE. I found out he wound up getting signed by WWE. He kayfabed me on it, and he was planning on no-showing the event. So when I found that out, I decided to call my dear friends in talent relations and see what was going on. Then he tried to tell them he was never booked.
Oh, so y'all had that going on.
Oh,
okay.
there were people here, they
But
said,
that
when
was-
I got Patrick on the phone finally after the WWE Talent Relations call, they said the wall shook. I was so loud. And he said, you know what? Oh, no, Talent Relations told me just to give you the money back for the trans. I said, it's not about the money. He lied to people I've known since 2000 about me. And they knew better.
Yeah.
And I tell you this, when I made a video online explaining why he wasn't going to be at the event and buried him. And you know what? When he wound up at that performance center, the talent there that I had worked with in the past that were friends, that I treated with respect and part of the brotherhood, they didn't make life pleasant for him. I hate him and I hate Terry Runnels.
Why
And
you
there's-
hate her so much? Because her false
I
teeth?
can't even tell. It's too long of a story. I just hate Terry Runnels.
Well, sorry, Terry.
It's a hatred. It's so deep.
You don't hate nobody.
No, I do.
You dislike her.
I hate her.
No, you don't.
With passion.
Oh, then that
And
means
Velveteen Dream.
you got to care about somebody before you can be angry at them.
You know what? I cared enough to try and treat her graciously and with respect, and to care about her time in interactions with her daughter. But you know what? That's a different story for a different time. But I just,
No, Dakota?
yeah.
What happened there?
No, just I tried to coordinate a schedule for her so she was
okay.
away from home as little
Yeah,
as
yeah, I got you.
possible
Yeah, yeah.
because she had a kid. You know what I mean? Again, trying to treat the woman as a human being
Right.
with respect. I didn't realize I wasn't dealing with something that wasn't human.
Yeah. Again, you saw a
That's the
different
first one, right, buddy? Yep. All right, brother. Anyway,
What was that, 2 minutes?
no, that was the halfway mark. I just.
Oh, this.
Oh, Marty, where you just got me going. I don't even
know,
remember
man,
where we were.
you've
We were
changed.
talking to Sherri Martel. I did. It was almost like Bruce Banner turning into the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, I
with
thought
my,
you were, man. That spider leg came out your nose
I will
again.
never forget what either one of those two did to me. And we've had, I told you, the night half
That's crazy
story
because I
and
like
whatnot.
both of them. I think they're nice people.
What? Did you
But
ever meet?
with Terry, she was just being a diva. Like she wanted first class and like
No,
flying
it wasn't
over.
that, no.
No, I'm
Oh,
telling my
oh.
thing. Going to Germany, I set her up to go to Germany, and the promoter come up, and it wasn't a long tour. It was like a week or something, about that, and they were talking about they were advertising already for the next tour, like a couple months down the road, and they had me on. I said, "You're not going to bring Terry back?" And he goes, "Oh, Marty, maybe not have expenses budget, because it's Germany, broken English."
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, how? Okay, or, I didn't want to try.
Yeah.
And but he's like, oh, she wants too much. She wanted first class. It had to be aisle seat. It had to, all these demands. And it was like
For
you said.
someone that meant nothing, that contributed nothing.
It's eye candy,
Other
man.
than her, who cared? There's
A lot of
3,000 people.
A lot of guys came to
Well,
the shows over in Germany just
yeah.
to see her.
I'm sure she interacted with a lot of the guys in Germany too.
Better
but
not
anyway.
have.
What's that?
Nothing.
Anyway.
Now we had room to. Man, they had.
I'm
us
sure.
out- No, next door to each other. And over in Germany, the places they kept it was like houses that converted into
Like Bill House
huh?
of the board of directors of Boston Wrestling? No, a different house. All right.
Yeah, that's a different.
So it wasn't a hotel. It was like a
No, it was
an
like
inn?
boarding houses type
Oh,
places.
really?
Yeah. And
And I'm
but-
sure she complained about that.
Well, she had no choice. No, she stayed, man. We were there for a week, and when it was time to leave, and she would always wear her pajamas, and at night and go down to the little club area in her pajamas. It was kind of cute, but at the same time, she would wear pajamas, and there was a shoot, I can't think of his name, Volkar, but it's a German name, Volkar. He was a bartender and I think part owner of the place. He was so good. I miss him, man. I think the world of him. Me and him would sit out there and do shots and talk. He could talk pretty good English, and we'd tell stories and stuff, and he would tell me about Germany, the culture and stuff. But she would come down sometimes and hang out with us. It'd be the three of us, her in her pajamas. And I'd go to bed around 2 in the morning, and then I'd get up at 7 or 8 in the morning to go, get something to eat. And Terry'd still be up, but she'd be in the little room on the computer in her pajamas. And then they were pulled up and getting skimpier and skimpier. I figured, okay, and then pretty soon she was going to come out in underwear. But, and just she stayed. We were all ready to go home because they had us right behind a cow field. And when the wind blew towards the building, oh my God, the cow smell. Was like,
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, and it was hot. There was no air conditioning. You had to open the windows.
Really? No AC. Oh, so this is really rural?
Yeah. No, it was out now. I mean, you look out the windows of your hotel, of your boarding house or whatever, and you see the rolling hills. You don't see another house nowhere for a while, a long ass time. So you're out in the middle of damn Hamburg's country, or wherever the hell we were, Hamburg or one of them. I think it was Hamburg, right outside of Hamburg. But yeah, and in Berlin one time when we was there, everybody was trying to get, they sell pieces of the wall that was broke down.
Yeah.
A chunk of it. I don't know how much because I didn't buy it. I'm like, well, I can get something out of my front yard and say it's
a
yeah, no fuck.
Just be a tribute, yeah.
But they take you to, that was another thing I was saying on another episode was, people save up for their whole life to go to Berlin or go to France, the Leaning Tower of Eiffel. Remember, I got it wrong.
The Eiffel Tower, yeah.
The Leaning Tower of Eiffel over in Paris.
Somewhere in there,
yeah. The other one's in Italy, I think, right? The Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Leaning Tower of Pisa, yeah.
But
they should have kept her over there.
No, I'm just saying when you go to those places, they tour you around because they know these are historic sites for tourists. So you get to see all that. And that was part of the perks of, not having to save up money.
Yeah, and travel.
Your whole life.
They sent you.
They pay you to go see these sites. So that left me more money to party with.
Well, I don't know how we even got on this subject. We were talking about Sherri Martel and what Jake said at the funeral.
Because you went crazy about Terry and then
what
crazy
did
about
Terry
Velvet
Reynolds have to do with Sherri Martel's funeral?
I don't know. You went crazy about
We'll have to rewind the video and watch.
Velvet McIntyre, you got mad about him.
Who?
Velvet McIntyre. What's his name?
Velveteen Dream.
Oh, Velveteen Dream.
I've never met Velvet McIntyre.
No.
I remember her as a solid women's wrestler in the 80s.
That's all I remember her as.
Barefoot.
Was she barefoot?
I think so. Was Velvet barefoot? I think so. But Velveteen Dream is just another one. If he's guilty of those accusations, get rid of him. Get rid of him.
Both accusations.
Many accusations.
Yeah.
He's an Instagram kind of guy, I guess. But
is he?
I'm way too old for him, so I don't know. But anyway.
What is this?
That is the Hell in the Cell with the little ring inside of it, yeah.
Oh, it's real.
It doesn't open.
Oh, this is one they have to do it like this? Oh, they raise it up and down?
Yeah, so if it was at the event, they go bum, 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 bum.
Is that the one New Jack? Not New Jack. No, Cactus Jack fell through?
Boom, boom.
Or did the dive off?
He took the bump off of. But
and threw one of them, or was that Taker? Somebody went through. Remember they slammed and one of them went through?
Foley did that twice.
Oh, okay.
Once with Taker in that same match, and another time it was gimmicked with
He did
Triple
two
H.
big bumps in that one match?
Yeah.
Damn.
And it was funny what people, unless they really were astute to it, when Foley fell through the cell, which was not planned, he had a steel chair in his hand. This was.
Right,
when,
that one, of course.
When Taker chokeslammed him, no.
Really?
He had a chair in his hand, and the chair hit him in the head when he fell and landed in the ring. I like Mick. He's a great guy.
I love him to death.
He's been in that seat, too.
Has he?
Yeah, we've had some fun with Mick over the years. But
I love him, man.
anyway, maybe back to that Sherri Martel thing. So what was the reaction to Jake's speech of love?
Everybody was silenced.
Uncomfortable?
What do you call it? Crickets? Crickets? Everybody was like this.
Was anyone trying to get him off the podium?
I think so. We were so mesmerized in like, this ain't really happening, that we were just being Booker. Book and I were like leaning towards each other, almost as it was like,
What?
should we do something? Should we go get him? Should we save him? Because I'm pretty sure Book knew too that he was geeked out. He was geeking.
I hate to say that it's hilarious, but it is sad and hilarious at the same time.
Yeah.
That poor Sherri's services, her farewell, was tarnished by Jake's speech of love.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say this in a positive.
And I never knew all those years they had anything. I never saw them together. That's why it could have been before I ever met her, because she'd been around a few years before I met her in AWA. So maybe they had something way back, because Jake
And she was
around.
part of one of those Moolah troops of touring women, so they could have wound up in the same territory at the same time.
That's probably what happened, because I never knew they had any kind of relationship.
Is it true that Booker paid for her headstone, or part of the services?
I wouldn't doubt. I don't know that, but I wouldn't doubt
I believe
it.
that to be true, and I think
they
that says a
loved
lot
her,
about Booker.
When she was with Harlem Heat.
Yeah, in
with,
WCW.
what's his name?
Stevie Ray.
Yeah.
Now, he wasn't there for the service?
No, he couldn't make it.
Oh.
I think he wanted to be, but whatever was going on, he couldn't. That's the thing, and that's the problem too, like that we go through. You love all your people, and I say 100, but when they die every other month, like we went through for a while,
For a long time.
for like 5-6 years straight, every other month, every third month, you were getting that phone call, and at first you start preparing because we all live in different places.
Yeah.
You prepare to go to that funeral. After about 4 or 5 of them, man, that's expensive to get a flight, and because we really aren't multi-millionaires, or at least I wasn't, and flights to hotels, the expenses and you don't, at first you don't care, but after so many of them,
it adds up.
Yeah, and you start thinking, okay, like I told you start worrying about your inner circle of your inner circle. If it's one of those, I got to make it. So I got to put this aside in case it ever is one of them.
Who was the toughest loss for you?
Probably Kurt Hennig.
And did you make it to his service?
Rough. No. Now you'll make me cry.
I'm sorry.
I just couldn't. I'd already been to a bunch by then.
By 03, it was like a pandemic. And both Hawk and Hennig died in 03.
Yeah.
Kurt was
year,
February.
Like 4 or 5 guys.
Kurt was February, and Hawk, I think, was September or October, if I remember
sounds right. Yeah.
I'll never forget Kurt's, because Percy came in the weekend of Kurt's passing, and he was in a bad place about it.
Yeah.
Because they were very close, too.
Yeah. Kurt, everybody loved Kurt, man.
44, too, wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the trials and tribulations.
I'm not going to say all my guys now, but Sean is in that inner. I never want to get that call. Like
even
hey,
now.
Yes, I never want to get that call. There's a couple others. I'm not going to say names, because then some of the guys will say, "What about me?"
Yeah.
But of course, Sean. That's one, and I hope he never has to get that call. About me, which I've got another. I forgot what I'm right now, somewhere like near 60 or something. But I got another 40 years at least.
45. A good friend.
That's actually the number I was looking at.
Acclaimed psychic medium, Ellen Damsky, a good friend down the street from here, that was her prediction, another 45 for you. So.
Is that what she said?
Hopefully,
that's what I'd actually thought.
Hopefully you're saving your Social Security checks at that point.
Yeah. But after 105, I think I've done everything.
Yeah, at that point it's time.
Yeah. There's not no new girls.
Maybe Jake will show up.
For me, being being a single and liking girls, I was to say a sex fiend, and that's not a bad day. If that's a sin I got, shit, I'm single. But it's always with me. Everybody's always asking, "Why don't you settle down? She looks good. Why don't you settle down? She looks good. Why don't you settle down? She looks good." It's always for me. I ain't speaking for nobody else. It's always a new look that you wonder about. It's not so much the look as what's she gonna sound like and be like. when you get to that moment, you know, in the room or wherever.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know if you call it curiosity, but it's, you know where I need to go?
Where?
Somewhere in Star Wars land. Because you know, remember all the Wookiees or whatever, they all look alike. They all got the white mask and they all look alike. Then that would settle down with one person. but
You like the variety.
Yeah, you know, it's always,
well.
you know.
All right, trying to reel it back into 1989 as we got way off subject yet again. Ronnie Garvin, your flying buddy, he lost a kind of a retirement match to Greg the Hammer Valentine and turned into Ronnie Garvin the referee. Any thoughts or memories of a kind of a bizarre scenario and a feud that seemed like it would never end between Ronnie and Greg? Almost Ronnie Garvin's entire run in WWF seemed like it was Greg and Ronnie.
Well, you know, and they'd been in the business at that time about 30 years. That was, what, 20 years ago?
Oh, 31.
31 years ago. They'd already been in the business a good 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, and then they got put together, and they both were rugged, you know, it was rugged Ronnie Garvin. And Hammers are tough, you know, nails
They'd
tough
stiff
type
the
of
shit
guy.
out of each other with
God,
the chops.
They would chop the shit out of each other back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, to the point where you would take the bump for them back in the back watching it. But they would come back and blood would be almost coming out. The handprints would be all over. Each of them, both of them. And I mean, they were just raw bone rough out there, you know, beating the hell out of each other, and they come back loving it. They're happy. How's the match?
Did Ronnie like going from being a worker to going in and turning into a referee for several months?
He didn't bitch about it because, you know, we rode with him, flew with him. He flew his own plane. We talked about that, I think. Because you put shoots on Ronnie Garvin. I said, oh, don't let Ronnie see that. Rugged, what they call him, hands of stone. Don't let him
then the NWA, he was the hands of stone.
Yeah, don't let him see that. He was a rough brother. You know, he was at the time, I was 20, it was WWF, so 28. I was probably 28 years old. Ronnie was right at 40. And we'd play racquetball. One of the gyms in Kansas City when we would be out there, and a couple other gyms, but they had racquetball. You know, that's a good game for sharpening up your reflexes and, you know, hand-eye coordination. And so we'd always play. I love it. I got pretty good at it. Ronnie was pretty good, but he had some trick shots. He would hit off the wall, and this little arch right into the corner, and you're like, fuck, like, no, I wait for it to bounce. He was good with shit like that. Like, zing, 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 try to hit it real fast. But Ronnie would beat me, and it would upset me so much. I mean, it would be close, like you score. I don't remember how you scored. It's been so long since I played. Like 2019, I think he had to win by 2. He would beat me 2019. So he'd be right there at it. Sometimes you had to go to win by 2. It would be 30, 28, or something like that. Mm-hmm. But he would beat me, and I'm thinking, how is this 40-year-old beating me? I couldn't handle it. I was like, nah, bullshit, let's play again. He would laugh and he'd play again, but that brother at 40 years old, you know, he might have been a little more, I might have been 30, so he might have been 42, 40, whatever it was. He was beating my little young, and boy, I was diving. I would dive to hit one, and you know, he's like, good effort, great effort. You know, he was like, you never seen nobody play like that. Run the wall down if you have to, because I would, man. I couldn't let him beat me. I mean, I beat him, if we played a dozen times, I might have beat him twice. He beat me like 10 times. But I guess the point of all that was what an athlete, what a competitor, what an in shape, raw bone, tough man he was. Yeah.
Maybe he almost looked at the referee spot like, is that the first or the second?
Second.
Well, thank you for bringing out the piece of paper to let me know.
He did his hands.
Well, I can't see.
I was going to tell you.
Oh, all right. Well, see, that's why it's good to have you here, Marty. You're the eyes of the team. Do you think maybe he almost looked at it, I don't know if he had any conversations while flying, but almost like a vacation, no working, no bumps, he was just out there refereeing?
Pretty much, and plus he was getting more because he would get our tickets, you know, WWE give you tickets for a 20-day tour.
Yeah.
It's a stack of it, it's thick, you know, and a lot of times, like I say, we just take the tickets. If we were in, say, Philadelphia, and we had to, wherever we was going the next day, you would take the tickets and just hand it to the counter. What airline? That's all you need to know. You just put your tickets up there, let them find it, and you didn't even. You was like, what gauge? You didn't even care where you was going. You're so burnt out. But there was a bunch of tickets, and we'd give them to Ronnie because he would cash them in to pay for it because it's expensive flying, even the private.
Now, I know the airlines up until Corona time were a pain in the ass when it came to trying to change flights.
tickets over?
Yeah. Was it different back then in the 80s? It was easier to do? Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of stuff different. And it was like one of them that we used to, as a rib, it was kind of a dirty rib, and you might still can do it. I don't know. Everything has changed now after 9/11, actually. Everything changed. But if we wanted to mess with somebody real bad, I want to call it a rib because I'd be joking when I did it. But some of the guys would do it out of, like the Bulldogs wouldn't like somebody like, well, fuck Tatanka. Like the Davy Boy, well, fuck Tatanka. Who the fuck he? I'll fix him. And he would go. We would call the airline. You know, we all flying on the same airline. Call Delta, and say the name. Hey, Jacques Rougeau. I want to cancel my flight for today. I'll call you later when I want to. They go to get
Go
the
to
plane.
check in.
And no, you canceled your flight. No, I didn't. They would be for real. Like, no, I didn't. They could get angry. Because when you're trying to bullshit, you can't get as angry because you're lying. But when that was like Sean when Kurt poured the Dynaball, the steroids in his damn protein powder. Sean was raising hell because he knew he didn't take nothing. He tested positive for it.
Bulldog did that to Tatanka?
Yeah, well, to somebody. I said, I didn't say who he did it to. I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
I said Tatanka.
Well, when Tatanka is going to be joining us in the studio, we'll run that one by him. See
Yeah,
if he
give me a
recalls.
hug, man. He's got some stories.
Does he? Okay,
yeah, he
good.
should. Well, if he remembers them. Because we got so many damn stories. That's why with the Barb story, it was like when Tony was doubting it, I had to second guess. Like, wait a minute, it was Barb, wasn't it? And to this day, I still say I think it was, but it might not have been. It might not have been.
All right. Well, anything more to that rib as far as the phone calls go? You said it was a dirty rib.
Well, yeah,
Cruel.
what I mean is like that fucks them up because they got to get the
They
next
gotta get to the
flight.
next city,
And they may not make the show, so that's dirty pool right there. You don't want to do that. But we just thought it was funny,
Fucking with someone's career, it's hilarious.
No, we didn't intend on missing the show. We just made them have to wait a couple hours for the next flight.
There you go. Just delay their day. All right, wrestling fans, we're running out of time on this one. As always, we thank you for joining us. If it's Thursday night during the premiere, hopefully you're chatting away with us. And don't forget, the Super Chat is open. Don't forget to tip the bartender for the great fun we're having here so we can keep having more episodes. Without wrestling fans, we can't have wrestling talk shows like that. It's that simple. The Patreon is still rocking and rolling with early ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider episodes, along with our acclaimed, world-renowned Studio Shoot Interview DVD library. And again, you help keep those wrestling legends working. Patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. The eBay store is filled with great merchandise. Every purchase on eBay, you get an on-air thank you from Tony Atlas, as well as the T-shirt fundraiser we have on our website at bostonwrestling.com. Links in the description box below. We thank you for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next Thursday night as we continue to party with Marty. You and yours be well, stay healthy. Good night.
The World Wrestling Federation was live at Telford Arena in Telford, England, Friday, March the 25th, 1994. In the opening contest, Quang beat Coco Beware. Earthquake with the win over IRS. Diesel defeated the 1-2-3 Kid. Bam Bam Bigelow victorious over Tatanka. Jeff Jarrett beat Doink the Clown. WWF Tag Team Champions the Quebecers retained the titles over Men on a Mission. And in the main event, WWF World Champion Bret Hitman Hart retained the title over Owen Hart. If you were in Telford live, share your memories in the comments section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll Journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view, watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling.